swing to the downside for now. I don't think it's going to be too volatile to the downside. It depends on what the tariffs come out with, though. That's our biggest issue right now. Was it this one? Yeah, it was. There we go. Save, beautiful. All right, you got that all set up. Welcome in, everyone. Good morning. Memory use is 200. Ooh, it's quite a bit. Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Getting the stream all set up here. X as well. It's a multiplier R2. So the longer that we stay within, what would your catalyst be? PP on Friday. I mean, it doesn't need a catalyst. It just means that price is coiling. But we've been coiling for going on 6 months now. It's been since October of last year, the beginning of October. So it's been a long time that we've been within the same range. We haven't, if you zoom out of your chart, I know you just asked for inside days, but it's the same concept if you go to the 1 week time frame or even 1 month time frame. We have been within the same range, the same 1 week range since November 3rd. But more realistically, since if you go all the way back to September 15th, we're at the same exact level as we were on September 15th. The high that we made on September 22nd is equal with the open that we have right now, but it's been an absolutely brutal set of consolidation for the past 6 months. So once we do break out of this, we're going to have a nice directional move like we did over here in April, and then have that play out hopefully until September, October, like it did last year. Usually we always get this consolidation around the new year, new open. And then come February is usually when you have your mid-February at the latest for most years, but that's usually when you have your separation and then continuation. We have not done that whatsoever this year. But we'll get right into what we're looking at for open. So this win streak that we're looking at for Tuesdays, we've been on. I went back tested it yesterday before we got into the stream today, or after we got off the stream yesterday. We're at 12 weeks in a row of winning the IB on a Tuesday. 12 consecutive weeks, mainly because we went on like a 10 week win streak with just playing the stats in the IB, that IB by rejection. And then if you guys remember 2 weeks ago, we did inverse the IB on a Tuesday and it ended up winning for us. We inversed it, played it to the downside, made like $280 on one micro, and that was half the move to the IB low. That move from 2 weeks ago, and you can see the break right here. We had the low form first and the low break first. That was 0210, 2 Tuesdays ago. We managed to kind of avoid what should have been a loss. I'll go back to 0210 because I think I still have the. Maybe I don't have it drawn on there. We inversed the IB on this day. We didn't hold it all the way until 6 12:45. It ended up breaking at 3, but I did hold it until I think we got out at noon, maybe a little bit later, or I trailed my stops to noon. But anyway, we I managed to play out the exact way that we wanted it to, and then I think we did the same thing on this one. The one that I didn't get the entry on was the Tuesday that it ended up inversing, and it never ended up breaking the full IB, but it did inverse and push up like 400 and something points. Then came crumbling back down, but maybe it was this Wednesday. I'm not sure. Anyway, Tuesdays are the best days for the IB to play out. The absolute best days. Good morning, everyone. Abe, how you doing? Kwong, KB. How's your weather? Sounds bad. We only got like 2 inches of snow last night. It was New York that got hit pretty bad. Anyway, going back to Tuesday. So either one that we formed today, the high or low, and the reason that I'm going to take it is because this is measured over even a 5-year time frame, which I almost never go to the 5-year. I always use the 6-month because we only care about what the market's doing in recent trends, recent data. Once this loads, 81.4% over 5 years for the low forming first and low breaking, or the high breaking first, and 71% on the high. We go down to 2 years, should be about the same there as well. Once this loads, there we go. So 82% still for the low forming first. This is a really good chance that we have a high break today as well. I'm sure you guys, well, maybe you didn't see the Edgefull post. I'll bring it up right now. So Edgefull, more importantly, I think it was either Andre or Sabine that posted this morning. The Edgefull algo for Tuesdays, if we open, so we have an 84.9% chance of doing this today. If we have a gap fill overnight, which we did on SPY and Qs, we pushed up from yesterday's gap down. If we have a gap fill overnight on a Tuesday, when price also opens inside yesterday's range, which we're open smack dab in the middle of yesterday's range, we have a 84.9% chance that we will break out of yesterday's range. So it's just the added like 5% on the inside bar, but it's still going to be a really good opportunity for us to go and take yesterday's high or yesterday's low. That being said, we can go and measure out yesterday's high. Yes, this was the trade that we had yesterday, the shorts. I didn't end up holding for the full TP. I ended up getting out at 603.63, so the RR was more so 0.6. This trade didn't have any drawdown whatsoever, so I wouldn't really, the RR I don't really care about. And for all I'm concerned, this was just, I could have called it a 166R because we put the stop loss at break even after it ended up hitting like 50 points green, 40 points green, and then I ended up just securing it. But don't concern yourself with risk reward and whatever else. I'm sure, as you guys saw all over social media yesterday, for whatever reason, the new trend is having every ICT trader there is coming out themselves online. Got a pretty good crack out of that yesterday. So don't concern yourself with RR. Don't concern yourself with what you're planning on making for a reward if you move your stop loss XYZ, or there's a lot of stuff that you shouldn't be worrying about. Win rate, RR, the only thing you should be focused on is profit factor. So our previous day's range, we don't really have a bias for this on Qs. On SPY, we do have a bias to the downside. So this is our previous day's 50 on SPY, and we made a perfect equal high yesterday. I'm not sure, and if anyone wants to add this in chat, I'm not sure if you want to take a look into what's dragging SPY down, but it's a lot weaker than Qs is. And that was very apparent all day yesterday as well. SPY just was in free fall the entire morning, and that's what ended up dragging Qs to previous day's low. Did not expect to see previous days low at all yesterday, but ended up hitting. So what we want to see today, does SPY go and take that low? Does it drop and go and take that low? If it does, then we're going to be anticipating a move down to that low on Qs as well. We are also gapped up 0.4%, so we can go over to our gap fill size, gap fill by size. On Qs, we have a 50-50 chance of filling it. If we dip down to the second bracket, not much better. However, on SPY, we do have a 85% chance that this gets filled, 84%, sorry. And that's because it's only a 0.07% gap. So we're going to be anticipating this to drop into open because of the gap fill. It should drop 40 cents. And then does that make it continue all the way to previous day's low? If so, then we're going to be looking for Qs to also go and take previous day's low. This is all just a thesis going into open. This is the mindset that I'm going to have going into open. I'm not going to marry this bias because it could completely switch. We go and target up to 608, or we could continue to trend down. So we'll see what happens into open. I'm not entirely focused on this bias. Unfortunately, it's not really that good of a bias because SPY and Qs are yet again extremely detached from each other. What we should have happen, SPY usually leads the way for Qs. So we should have SPY go and take one of these levels first, and then Qs will go and take it. If it's the high, Qs will go and take it first. If it's the low, SPY will go and take it first. How awesome would it be if we could see the charts on Edgeful? Oh, that would be like they go and add a tab over here where this half is your charts and this half is your data that you're looking at. That would be pretty cool. Is your Apex PAs gone? No, but they did end up taking $443 out of the accounts yesterday. I was just telling Wall Dive that. From like 2 weeks ago, they ended up taking $440 out of my profit. I have no idea what that was for, but why do you switch prop firms every month since the last two? I still trade all the ones I have. I have Tradeify that I kind of butchered a payout that I was going to get today. So I'm a little behind where I should be there. My funded futures, I guess the part of the reason that I'm kind of hopping, why does it keep going to the 1 minute time frame? What's that all about? Part of the reason I'm hopping from prop firm to prop firm is because I haven't really found one that I like that much. Tradeify and Lucid are definitely my favorite. So those two I always trade. But on top of that, I also want to add more accounts because I have a winning model. So the more accounts that I trade on, if I traded one account with one micro, that's no different than me trading 50 accounts with one micro because it's taking the same trade just over all 50 accounts. So I'm not switching them. I'm just, the ones that you guys see on stream are different. But that is not because I'm churning and burning all the accounts. That's just because I'm adding on to how many accounts I have. Because I have on Tradeivate, I have all these still. So I'm up to, with these, my funded futures accounts, I think I have 35 funded. I want to get to 50 if I can. Good morning. Good morning. Morning. Some Wall Street boy wrote a fiction depicting the economy and collapse because of AI and everyone sold. That was funny. Edgeful indicators will lay over trading view kind of the same. Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea why they took the profit out. It doesn't have a description. Oh, sorry, Patrick. Yeah, I don't have funded accounts with Lucid. I do have 5 evals that I'm trying to get back. I do not have the funded one, so I'm at 30. Yeah, 30. How's the RR work, bro? Every day is not a winning day. If day one TP of 100 points, next day 200 points, how do you manage in this type? I stay the size the same And you can also de-risk with the IB. You don't have to go and take the same size. One MES is half of an M&Q, just so everyone knows. Thought you were getting ready to go live with them. That was a couple months ago, and I ended up not getting to live. I was one payout off or two payouts off, and I ended up blowing it. I want to aim to get live with my funded futures. These accounts, the ones I'm trading right now, have daily payouts on them. So if I get to 500 profit today, if I get another 500 and I get the accounts to 4,100 for a balance, I can take 10,000 out whenever I hit it. So I could take it out at noon if I wanted to. I'll go and pull that dashboard up. So for the RR, I'm not concerned with it. If you're making money, you're making money. If you're losing it, you're losing it. These trades that we've had, the ones that usually lose and don't play out on the IB are usually the chop days like this. So last Thursday, and the range was, I think, 38 points, so 19 points on one MES. Whereas on Wednesday and Friday, the wins that we had on those 2 days, well, sorry, not Wednesday, Tuesday and Friday. There we go. It's better. Tuesday, we had a 120-point win, and I still secured that early as well. And then Friday, we had what was that? Friday was like a 20-point win on MES. And then yesterday was another 50-point win on M&Q. I don't know exactly what the win rate is, but it's pretty damn good. Probably like 75 to 80%. Watching from France, welcome in. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on all the comments right now. I wonder if my funded will actually pay out on the pro. Yeah, they absolutely do. So the reason that my funded futures has been around just about as long as Top Step has. I'll go and log into this. Don't steal my password. So they've been along just about as long as Top Step. They are partnered, and the reason I'm focusing on these accounts, they're partnered with Blue Row Capital, which is an actual hedge fund. If you go and look up Blue Row Capital hedge fund. So this is who they're partnered with right here. They're an actual institutional hedge fund. When you move live with my funded futures, which is after whatever metric they go and look at for you, win rate, profit factor, whatever it might be, they go and give you an account with Blue Row Capital, and they have thresholds that they match. So once you go live with them, if you make, I'm not sure why this isn't logging in here. If you make X amount with Blue Row Capital, they go and give you like another bonus on top of that to have in the account. And another reason that I guess I kind of do switch with the ones that we trade live is because I go and take these trades. I don't use a third-party trade copier. There's too many horror stories with those copiers. I take these trades and I go and switch to a different tab, and I enter on that tab, and I switch to a different tab, and I enter on that tab. The second and third accounts, usually the second one's okay. The third account I usually get swamped on. I either forget about it or I get kind of bogged down with reading the comments or whatever it might be. I always seem to blow the third one. Not actually blow it, but I always seem to butcher it. Like if I was up 300, I go and swap tabs to the third one, and I'm only up 250 or 200. So that one's usually always lagging behind. If we have a violation on any day, Apex is now taking profits away from that day. That's what happened to me. Yeah, they took one. What's going on, Juliana? How you doing? It was like 2 weeks ago that they took the profits from. It was $443 from 2 weeks ago that they took from me. Which I mean, I still have like 3,100 on the accounts. 3,300, 3,100. From Cape Town, oh, you got people from all over. First time watching from Belgium, UK, Cape Town. I have, several impersonators Lion Face. There's many of them. One with the IB today just had a perfect 25% entry on USD Japan. Morning, Air. How you doing? But now I don't know what the payout window is now for those accounts because I was set to get it or request it this week. And now it's kind of thrown out the window a little bit. But it is what it is. The Apex accounts, I also don't want to trade those and give them any. I don't want to trade them live and give them any exposure. All right. So going back into queues now, our gap is oops, error there. Line face, it's on YouTube and in the Discord. It took 11 business days for me to get sorry, not 11 business days, 7 business days, 11 calendar days for me to get that payout from Apex, which is the longest I have ever waited. Do, do, do. They absolutely do pay, Patrick, by the way. My Fun and Futures, you can go and look on. They don't have any. I want to log in so you guys can see what their rules are. I don't know why it won't work. Probably because so many people are trying to log on right now in preparation for open. I'm not a robot. Let me log in. So our gap fill report, gap fill by size, we have a 63% chance of filling this. SPY filled its gap already, so it's actually likely to jump into open. Even though we're only down 21 cents right now, we do have another 5 minutes. So this is likely to jump up to 682.37, which is what yesterday's close was. And then we'll see what it does from there. Not really any bias that we can assess into open right now, unfortunately. There we go. So the only 3 rules they have are these right here. Sorry, there's 4 rules. You cannot trade during T1 news, which is FOMC, EIA report, CPI, and NFP. PPI is not a T1, but that's just these 4. That's it. And they have a calendar on here, and they tell you the time that it comes out. You cannot have a trade open during that time. It's either a trade open or you can't have the trade closed. There you go for the IB, by the way. So profit factor on these is about 2.5, albeit I've only been trading these for 3 days live now. These are all from the IB, though. Scratch that. Yesterday I did trade a little bit after the IB, but it was an IB retracement. We went to previous day's 50 and then rejected all the way down to low. So I took it to low day, but these are all the stats right here for the IB minus the 314 for the worst trade. That one, I don't know if I'd validate it. We've been taking a lot of 2 MES contracts as well. So that's why it's not no longer 1 micro on them. I think it's 100K total. I don't think it's 100K each, Patrick. I think it's 100K total sim profit is what their max is before they absolutely move you live. I'm in the dirtiest drawdown. How bad, Sean? Oh yeah, the 100K and 10K, they are in a rough position. Those ones are in a predicament. They'll come back though. Is going live a good thing? I've heard mixed feelings on that. I think going live is a good thing. I don't have a live account with any firms yet. I really want to get live with them, with my funded futures, because of the way that they move you live for like Top Step. When they move you live, first off, Apex doesn't even have a live program. So if you get the call to live with them, that's just you getting banned. There's nothing you can do about that. So once you get called to live, you no longer have the ability to uh, open new accounts. You kind of lose your access to being able to even get to the sixth request, because they'll more often than not close out the accounts because they don't want to pay you any more money. The gap right now, if you guys go, and this is another reason I chart QQQ, the gap is in the bottom right hand corner. If you go over to MNQ, it is the gap from the 4 o'clock close from yesterday. So wherever we closed at 4 o'clock, which is right here, that is what our gap fill is, down to 24,778 ish, which we're kind of making a push for already to open. We're down to 0.15, so we have a 90% chance of filling this gap. We're probably going to go to previous day's low on both, I would assume. Has anyone been live? What happens to the accrued funds in Apex? Once you, for Apex, it's at their discretion. So they could email me tomorrow and say, we don't want to work with you anymore. We're going to give you the option to either transition to live, which that just keeps you in a gray area for years until they eventually do have a live account. Maybe they will eventually pick that up. Or you can take the entire amount out of the accounts and they close them, and then that's it. You're done with Apex. You can't go and buy any more new accounts. You can't really do anything with them. That's exactly what they do, Brandon. They tell you you're going to go to a live account, and they just ghost you. Yes, because they don't have a live account. And funny enough, believe it or not, and this should show their character even more. If you guys remember my tweet from a couple weeks ago saying that after one payout, they banned me from evals, which is the same as being banned from Apex. Maybe an hour after I made that tweet, someone reached out to me and said that we will unban you from Apex. We will unban you from being eval banned if you get an affiliate code and promote Apex. Yeah, I got my payout yesterday, but it was 11 days that they made me wait. It got approved on 2/12. Yeah, 2/12 is when it got approved, and then it took 11 days for the money to come in. I go where I draw my levels. Yeah, it's with the Gone box under Fibonacci, and make sure that you have the weak magnet on so it snaps the levels, and then I just snap it to previous day's high, previous day's low, drag it out to the right. And for our London range, I forget to draw that in again. Our London 50 is right there on SPY. So we're already about to go and take previous day's low. That is going to be our draw. Now, what that means for Qs is that should also, we just got the gap fill, by the way. This went to 0, 0. For Qs, that means that we should also be anticipating a move down to previous day's low. I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of London 50 because it lined up with previous day's 50. So we can get some clutter off the chart. And that's exactly it, Kareem. They're okay with paying you money as long as you, excuse me. A little head cold again. Sorry about that. They're okay with paying you money as long as you bring in new accounts. They're likely to lose money. Exactly. We have on our previous day's low for both Qs and SPY, we have a 75% chance on SPY, on Q, sorry, 81% chance on SPY that we go and take previous day's low. The reason I'm leaning towards previous day's low is I mean, there's no need to overcomplicate it. We are 70 cents away, if that. With that low that we made on the wick, we were just 40 cents away from previous day's low. So say you don't have a social media following, then they just won't pay you out. More likely, yeah. They most likely will not pay you out. I mean, I'm sure there are people get their issues fixed regardless, but definitely making a post on social media helps. Okay, sorry, I was making sure that everything was posted on socials there. Previous these lows definitely coming. Not really anything that we could have done because that was. I mean, if you guys wanted to short right into open, but I do not trade the first 15-minute opening candle anyway. Just about there. Done for the day. What'd you get, Roland? The other day you called me out for using I remember Rain. To be fair, Rain, that was a double break on the IB. So it did end up breaking the IB high, and then it went all the way. Which day was it? I took a win, and then you may have taken a win after. I don't remember what day it was exactly. Maybe Tuesday, February 10th. We were both right. The IB played out, and then the S just took the low. It did. Low 680.35. Previous day's low is 680.39. So he took it by 4 cents. Does this change anything? No, it does not. So we're going to be anticipating low being taken for Qs, and what this means for the IB. We still have another hour for the IB, just about. We're going to be targeting the low breaking first, more likely than not. and that's because we were continuing yesterday's bearish trend. The inside bars work really well. They work extremely well. These top 3 stats that you see on the bookmark side, these are the 3 that I use the most because these 3 line up the best. So we have the gap fill by size. If the gap is usually between if the gap is in the first 2 brackets, you typically fill it for both SPY and Qs. Anywhere over the third bracket, 0.4 to 0.69, those ones don't really have that much validation to. Once we do fill the gap, that typically keeps the trend for the day, unless it's a gap like SPY just had, where it was 0.8%, 0.06%, whatever it was. Unless you have a gap that small, it usually wicks up, fills the gap right at open, and then pushes down, which is exactly what we did. I do not always take the trade in the 1030 bar. I usually take it 1023 to whenever it hits the IB50, if it does at the IB50. Yesterday, I took it at 1021 because we were too bearish. I didn't think we were going to get down or get back up to the IB50. And the sad part is, had I held that for a little extension, even the previous day's low, that would have been like a 380 point trade, and I got 50 points out of it. It was still good, but are you aware about daily continuity rule and Tradify after second payout? It's like hidden consistency rule. It's only on some of their accounts, I think. I use the growth accounts with Tradify. Those ones don't have. I think those should be their most popular accounts, but those ones have the most relaxed rules, I think. Under London low, there you go. Very nice. How are your Apex accounts coming back along, Roland? So, exciting little announcement for everyone in the YouTube stream. Coming this Wednesday, and then every Wednesday following that, we will be giving away 5 1-month trials for Edgeful on Wednesdays. So as long as you guys are in the stream and we hit, probably going to put a like count behind it. As long as you're in the stream, liking the stream, we will give away, on Wednesdays, we'll give away 5 of the 1-month trials for Edgeful. So tomorrow will likely be our first one. And then each Wednesday moving forward from that. So make sure you guys are liking and sharing the stream. We'll see what we need to get to for a like goal. We'll talk a little bit more with the team on that, and then we'll see what we have to do tomorrow. Pretty crazy wick all the way back up. We might actually not go and take previous day's low on Qs. If we go and take previous day's high, that would be insane, because that would be a perfect replication of what we did yesterday. We took previous day's high on SPY, did not take it on Qs, and Qs ended up going and kind of crashing all the way to previous day's low. These two have definitely been a little diverged. Now we have the IB low form first into the IB high. We're still within that first 15-minute opening candle, though. Let's say this holds as is. Then we want to see price do something like this. And I might honestly, after we get our entry, instead of, okay, work with me here. Instead of taking the full position on 2 MES, if we get a 2 MES entry, if we get like 2 M and Q today, I'll take 1 M and Q off at IB high, and then I'll take the second one off if we go and hit previous day's high. So I might trim for the first time in a long time. I might ride a longer position up. We'll see. Every time I put an order in, it's delayed. Tradeovate usually they've had a traffic issue. They posted an update about this over the weekend and Monday this week. They had a traffic issue because of how many people are trading futures now, believe it or not. So opening for New York, opening for Glopex, and opening for Asia, which is at 8, they've had such an increase of users that it's starting to delay your orders and your entries. Nothing to do with the market. If you have a live account, you'll be a-okay. It's because there's so many sim accounts that are using Tradeovate now that they're having difficulties with getting those traded orders in. Julian, we probably won't have an entry here for another at least 30 minutes. Oops. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yeah. Got a payout. There you go, Roland. Very nice. Our bias has switched now, yes. Our bias is now targeting, we no longer have the app gap fill. We don't have to worry about that. Gap was filled on Qs. We're looking for Qs to probably go and take previous day's high. I don't think we're going to go back down now with that sweep that we just had a previous day's low. This is a really big candle back to the upside on SPY, especially. $4 opening candle on SPY and for Qs already, the first 15-minute opening candle is 200 points, which is crazy. Is a massive candle. For SPY, this is already a huge candle as well. 4 points is... to put this into perspective, actually, the singular 15-minute candle right now, started there a little bit, is the same size as the entire range we made last Thursday for the entire trading day. So all of Thursday's price is the same size as this one opening 15-minute candle right now. That's another question I get asked a lot is, why do I take some IB trades earlier? Why do I take MES on some and MNQ on others? Sizing has a big thing to do with it, because this is only the first 15 minutes right now. I'm assuming we're probably going to go up to 607. So another $4, $5 up on Qs. It's really 608 that we should go and hit. That with the wick that we have added in, we're going to have like a $9 range today. And that's just with the IB, more likely than not. So we're probably going to... I do want to get a pivot down if we can, and then we can target up. The IB 50 is currently sitting at 602. The higher we go, the higher the IB 50 goes, obviously. And then our London 50 is lined up right with previous day's 50. That is a crazy sweep right there. Gold is doing the same thing, just in the opposing direction. Gold's down 1.8% right now. That should propel us up a little bit more as well. Crazy opening candle right there. Do I have an affiliate link? No, I do not. Not with Edgeful. I do have a link for my funded futures Lucid and Tradeify though. It's a code Zinc. Dude, I know that was crazy yesterday. For those that didn't see that comment, the whole Justin Werline thing from yesterday. I try not to get into reading on that stuff. I don't really want to read too much into it, but it is a wild thing. I think you guys are best off, if you're worried about who you're following for a trader, The best thing you can do is just watch people that trade live. There's very few people that will trade live with their account numbers visible, especially people that use Apex. Obviously, I'm not going to be trading them live anymore, but I was capped out. I had 40 PAs. So I was on PA number 40. If you go on stream or go and look at people that also trade Apex and they're posting payouts, the people that are still trading with Apex, most of them are in their 500s. And that's the only reason that they are still trading with Apex. I spent 3,000 and I've gotten 30,000 out. The people that are still trading with them and haven't gotten the eval ban yet, you usually churn almost an equal amount. Either that or they're affiliates with them. But just try to find people that live trade, whether that's myself or I don't know, whoever you can find that shares a window like this, as opposed to that was a bad voice cracks there. As opposed to having like a login on Tradeify and you don't ever or login on TradingView, sorry, and you don't ever see their account numbers. But it is mind-boggling to me that 7 years of claiming to be profitable, and he turned out to imagine what his conscience must have been telling him. Mike, whatever the best promo is they have is that's what my code gives. If it's your first one buying, it's like 40% off, I think. But that's only for your first account, and then after that it goes like 20%, and then your third account's whatever their best deal is. The same goes for anyone with an affiliate code. Whatever the affiliate code is, that gives you the best possible discount. It's the same as using the discount the prop firm offers. I cannot believe that we just swept that candle and we're pushing all the way to previous day's high in Qs now. Yesterday we also had you just told me there we go. Inside bar by breakout report. And on SPY, we have a 10% chance of breaking both previous day's high and previous day's low, which is what happened yesterday. We broke previous day's high pretty much right at open 9:45, 9:30. And then we also broke previous day's low, which is one of the reasons I wasn't anticipating price to go too much lower yesterday. Just I'm going to be doing the same exact thing today. I'm not really anticipating that we go too much higher on SPY. I mean, 690, another 5 points up is a lot. Qs only has to push up another 3 to get to that previous day's high. But that is only a 10% outcome. Happens 10% of the time. Qs, we want to pull back down to 603, hopefully. Sorry about the voice today. It's another little cold that I caught from my brother-in-law. We went a couple days with it being good. And then it went way downhill. If we get a pullback to 603, I will enter. I don't think we have any data today. Any heavy hitting data today. Market data this week. I guess 10 o'clock we do. Consumer confidence is a pretty big one. Wholesale inventories doesn't mean anything, but consumer confidence is probably like a 0.5%. We just made a 0.8% pivot in about 20 minutes. Volatility is at a high. We're at 22 on the VIX as well. Good morning. What's going on, Frank? IB on NQ already at 1%. Yeah, I know this is a crazy range we made. All in 20 minutes. We went from 599 up to 606. in 20 minutes. SPY should not go to the high. Correct. 690 is a 10% outcome. So it's not something that I'd be looking for. It's the inside bar by breakout report. Only 20% of the time it stays within previous day's range, which is what happened yesterday on Qs. 10% of the time it will break previous day's high. These ones, I mean, you could use, but it's a 50-50 whether it breaks previous day's high or low, essentially. 10% of the time it breaks both, which is why I'm not going to be looking for a moonshot on SPY today. I think that we'll get our IB high break, and then that will be it for the day. Keep in mind that we're also up 0.6% as well. Qs is not really looking at that measure because Qs did not break previous day's low. Very first thing that I said in the stream today as well. Qs is a lot stronger than SPY. I don't know what the metric is. We can go, I guess, we can look at SPY's heat map. SPY heat map. NVIDIA and Avgo are both in QQQ, so that wouldn't do anything. Google, Meta also. It's got to be financial and definitely healthcare as well. Financial, healthcare, and maybe industrials, but I know GE is also in Qs, I think. Cat, maybe. I don't know what's making it so weak. Something's making SPY a lot weaker than Qs, and it's playing catch up. It'll be fixed soon enough, I hope. What ideally we want to see today is this right here. So we want to see our long position do something like that. If we can get a pullback, hopefully consumer confidence comes in bearish, slightly bearish, and we get a pullback. That gives us like a little whiplash back down. Today looks like it's probably going to be a little tricky to take the IB with. But in wrong window. For good news, though, IB by rejection on a Tuesday. This is our highest win rate day of the week. Right now we have and this is measured over 5 years as well, so this isn't skewed. This is skewed maybe by 1%. The average over 5 years for Tuesday's IB low forming first and the IB high breaking first is 81%. So this is about as high of a win rate as you can get throughout the week. Morning, Frank. Data is on Edgeful, which I will repeat again for anyone that didn't hear it, or if I forget to say it. Starting tomorrow, for everyone that is in the stream, each Wednesday, we're transitioning more so to an Edgeful TV type deal. Starting on Wednesdays, we will be giving away, we as in Edgeful, will be giving away 5 1-month packages of Edgeful for free. So that will be the giveaway that hits on Wednesdays. For anyone that is wondering what the data is, Edgeful, I think it's like $45 a month. I should be familiar with that. $49 per month. So it's essentially the same as getting an eval each month. There we go. We're getting our pullback now. We do have 4 minutes until the news, so we're not going to be entering longs quite yet. I think that would be a little premature. And we'd be more so hoping that news comes in bullish. But hopefully, if we see the news print and the news comes in bullish, I will look for an entry at 603. How early will I take the trade? I mean, it depends on what the IB does today. We're definitely what's going on, Rolo? Good morning. How you doing? We're definitely bullish for right now. I did get a little faked out into the opening move. I thought for sure we were going to go and take that previous day's low on Qs. We were less than $1 away. We were 70 cents away from taking previous day's low, and then it managed to recover, and now we're targeting previous day's high because the IB is bullish. Maybe had something to do with the sweep on SPY. What we can do though is if we end up going and taking 2 MES as opposed to 1 or 2 MNQ, then we can maybe look for a little bit more 608 on Qs. We'll see. I'm really just waiting for the news. We have consumer confidence at 10, which is probably a 0.5% data point, meaning that price will move either back up to 606 or we'll move back down to 602 from where we are right now. 603, sorry. We'll see. I think I'm really done. 150 on PA and 500 on live. How I can't believe you're still trading with Elite Trader Funded. How bad is the situation that they put you in, Roland? Because I know you said you were going to take a payout, and then they kind of denied your payout and moved you live instead. So at least until after 10, yeah. We have another 2 minutes, and then that will change that'll change the next 2 minutes will change everything we have for a bias or thesis about the trade that we're looking for in the IB. I am hoping that the data doesn't come in overwhelmingly bullish, because then we're just going to go right up to 608. I hope that it comes in right on the line. We get a little dip down to 602. We hang out there for a little bit, and then we can target up to previous day's high. That's what I want to see today. I like the for the My Funded Futures accounts, I like the rapid ones because of the daily payouts with these. But once I get these two, and you can also take the full balance out. They obviously don't want you to. You might end up getting banned if you do that repeatedly, but generate 2,100 in profit, and you can take a minimum $500 payout per account each day as well. You can also take the account right down to 2,000. So if I make another 600 today, I can take a 10K payout from My Funded Futures. Not that I'm going to, because that would just burn the accounts. Even a $500 payout would be really nice, though. Oh, you did get a payout for 1,200. I remember you from months ago, Roland. You were saying how bad of a program they had and how miserable it was going through, like what you had to make for profit and trading the accounts and showing the trades on the accounts. What's going on, Yara? How you doing? Data is now out, so it looks like I'm trying to get it on Walter Bloomberg here real quick. I do not have financial juice. I don't need to pay for something else that they have come out free. Come on, Walter, what you got for me? Trying to update right now. Maybe I should get financial juice. Walter's being a little slow. Consumer confidence 91.2 versus 87. So it did. I would read that as bullish. There's our 50 retracement as well. Still a little too early to get in. 10 o'clock, we have more. That's 30 minutes that we could go and make a new IB low. So we're not getting in quite yet, but this is what we wanted to see. The only thing that will change this bias now is if we go and take a new IB low, as well as SPY. If SPY went and took a new IB low at 680, then probably wouldn't take the longs on Qs. But we do want to see price hang out. It could very well bounce off the 50% because it's hitting right now. It's also at London 50 as well. There's London 50 right there. So if we close over like 603.40, we may not get an entry today. But on the same note, 29 minutes until the IBs form. This is way too early for us to be getting into the trade. That's too much time for price to continue and make a new low or high. So we do want to see this come down a little bit, cool down a little bit, hopefully. Okay, we're getting what we didn't want to see. I want it to cool off here for 12 minutes. Give me sideways price action for 12 minutes, and then we can go and take the IB high. If we get down to like 600, we could still take it for the IB high, and then our risk wouldn't really be much at all. And I might even take that trade with 2M and Q if we get down there. As it stands right now, we are unfortunately bouncing off of London 50. It's just a little too early for me to get into the trade, but it does look like a really good entry. We just hit IB 50. We're holding over London 50. We're holding over previous day's 50. We have previous day's high intact. I just need you to wait a little bit longer for me. Above expectations, 91.2. Yeah, well above expectations. 91.2 versus 87.2. 87 flat, actually. The only reason that I'm not taking the trade right now, if we were here, if we're at this level in another 10 minutes, I'll take it. If we drop all the way down to 600, I'll take it after 10:30. I do not want price to go and take a new IB low at 599. I don't think it will, but that's always a possibility that we kind of free fall a little bit, take a new IB low, at least on SPY. SPY is a lot closer than Qs. So we have two things that need to line up, and 27 minutes of exposure is a little too long for me. So that's the hardest part about the strategy, is being patient with it. We already broke previous day's low on ES, which means we have to close today below yesterday's close according to Edgeful. Yeah, it's not lined up as well as I'd like. Previous day's close is right where we are right now. It's 682.79. So we could definitely go and take a high and come back down. We could go and take a low and come back up. We just want price to hang around here a little bit. The hardest part with trading is not getting into a trade, as this does line up for our model right now. It's just too early on the lineup. That's what I want to do, Tyree. So I am gonna, with that payout I just got from Apex, I'm gonna try to open, and this will probably be what you guys see me trading next and for the foreseeable future. I don't know if Sean's still in here, he can add more to this, but he told me that on Tradeovate you can open 4 personal accounts and copy trade them. So I'm gonna try to open those accounts with my own funds, probably 1,500 to 2,000. Or if it's only 4 accounts, I'll do 2,500 per, and I will trade 1 to 2 micros, because that's essentially the same as trading a 50K prop account, except there's no rules, there's no restrictions on what you can withdraw. Gold, I don't worry about gold for the IB. Gold's IB is actually one of the worst trading strategies you can do on gold. I wouldn't really concern yourself with this during New York anyway. I was reading more into it, and apparently they had to get it approved. So you can open 4 accounts, Sean? Because if you can open 4, then I'm definitely gonna look into funding my own accounts with them. Oh, man. Qs, all you had to do is wait a little bit longer. An IB for London traders. If you wanted to use the IB for London, it's technically just the first hourly open of London, which is 3:30 to 5:30, I believe. Anyone wants to correct me on that? When is London session open? I think it's 3:30 or 3 to 5 is the whole session. When is London trading session? I hate this GMT shit. Yeah, or do that, Brian. Either trade. Yeah, I know Tradeovate and Ninja Trade are the same. Either one that would let me open those personal accounts, I would go and trade on. I'm honestly after I wouldn't say mastering Tradeovate, but after getting familiar with Tradeovate, I don't think there's much of a learning curve to learning other platforms. That being said, I'm not overly eager. I'm gonna wait until thank you, Rollo. 3 o'clock's when they open. That's what I thought. I'm not overly eager to try TradeC. Once they add the copy trading ability for Lucid and Tradeify, and I know for a fact that if that copy trader breaks, Lucid and Tradeify are liable for it. When it's no longer in a beta form, then I'll look to go and trade with them on TradeC. But for now, I'm going to keep with the multiple tabs. Our current range on the IB is about 300 points. Sorry, 270 points. 694 is our low, 964. Oh, that's funny. 964 is our high. So we have 185 points from IB 50 to IB high. That doesn't seem right. What did I mix up? 135 points, sorry. 135, not 185. So a $270 trade from IB50 if we can get lucky enough to get an entry there. SPY might give us a better entry today. We'll see. We do have another 6-ish minutes before I'll look to get in. The reason that I don't want to enter too early, I've covered this several times, is just because I don't want price to. The longer you're exposed, the worse off you are in the market. You want to be in and out, I'd say probably within 15 to 30 minutes. You don't want to hold trades longer because that's more susceptible to getting bad news. News is always going to come out, especially with the VIX trading at 21. News, volatile spikes up and down. Unless you're trending like we were yesterday, you can hold the short for the entire time. Hindsight, obviously, but for a day like this, the earlier you enter, 10:25, we might have Trump come out and say that he's slapping 30% tariffs on everyone, and we drop 2%, and there's nothing you can do about that. 135 to high, yes. Yeah, my maths was not good. Qs, you just had to wait a little bit longer, man. Perfect bounce off the 50, though. On the 1 minute, we closed the body at 6:03 on the dot. And now it's starting to trend up a little bit too much. On the good side of this, though, we do still have 20 minutes that this can come back down to 6:03 again. So just have to wait. No other data points to look at on Edgeful, just the IB by rejection now. London 50 is lined up with previous day's 50. That's why I don't have London 50 drawn on. Previous day's 50 also did end up holding, which is, again, London 50. So this 15-minute has 4 minutes left on it. If this closes over 6:03.50, that's another validation. It's actually 2 points of validation to go back up to 6:06. And then on top of all of that, we have the inside bar. 75% chance that we go and take previous day's high or previous day's low. With the IB lining up bullish, more than likely going to go and take that previous day's high. It's very difficult not going and taking a trade for this, though, I will admit. You took the 50 on MES. There you go. Retala. Very nice. Bullocks. Had we entered that early, obviously this is all hindsight. It's a terrible way to look at trading, but had we entered that early, that trade would have had maybe $15 in drawdown. We got exactly what I was looking for on the consumer confidence data read. A bullish came in bearish to open, and then it's a bullish data point. Should be refreshed. Yeah, there we go. 91.2 versus 89 for previous 88.6. 87 was what I saw on Walter Bloomberg for the estimate. It's definitely a bullish read, so it should push us up to 608 as well. All it had to do, though, was wait a little bit more, wait a little bit longer. Push to the high, payout, please. I'm risk-free for payout. Was that the payout on Tradeify? I asked you earlier and you ghosted me, you little brat. So do you have to hit 155,000, 154,000 for the 150 case? Yes, yes, pull back, pull back. All right, this candle has another minute 30 on it, and then that will be 10:15. 10:20, I'll be okay with taking the trade. 10 minutes before the IB. Even if it forms a new high, that's fine because we're targeting it to the high. If it forms a new low, that's what we don't want to happen. We want to hang out right around 603, and we're not going to get in too early because that leaves us overly exposed to the market. There's a fine line that we want to walk. It might be MES that we end up taking it on today because MES is right on the 50. QQQ is close to it, but MES is a lot closer. And this one is still like one MNQ is $270. 2 MES for today would be our whole range is just under 60. So from the midpoint, it would be like 28 points. So one MES would be $140, 280 on 2 MES, 270 on one MNQ. That's surprising. Usually MES is, even 2 MES is less than one MNQ, but not today. There we go. We're on the final countdown now. We got 14 minutes until the IB is finalized. If this candle, ideally, we want to see it happen at like 10:23 to 10:25. We want to get down to 603. It's not looking like we're going to. 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. Really just need to keep it simplified to the 15 minute. This looks like a little pullback and then a run back up to me. Oh, we got to be patient. I don't really need that arrow on there anymore. That was from the open. Did I get into M and Q? No, not yet. Not in anything yet. I'm looking for this to pull back to 603, and then we're going to go in with probably one M and Q, and then we're going to target up to the IB high. cool off a little bit for me. Just need a hanger right around this point. And again, on Tuesdays, everyone, this is the highest win rate that we have on the IB for any weekday. 78% on SPY and 82% on Qs. And this one's measured over 2 years. 5 years is still like 81%. We pulled that up earlier already. Once it loads, I'll just stick down to 6. You guys can take my word for it. But that was just 2 years. That was 82.8%. For 6 months, it's 81.8. So we will definitely be looking for the high. If it does not go and break the high today, then we just got unlucky with a 1 out of 5 outcome. Our entry is hopefully going to be 24,829. We could chase it up a little bit. The more we chase it up, the more skewed the risk reward is on the trade. We don't want to be entering at like 605 and only anticipate $1 break. So I'm gonna still be a little patient here. It's got 6 minutes left before I'll look to get into the trade. 3 to 6 minutes before I want to get into the IB highs, IB longs. The longer it takes for it to push up, the better off for us. And the shorter amount of time that's on this 12 minutes is what we have left until the IB's formed. We want this to have as little exposure as possible. Because again, the longer you're exposed to the market, the more susceptible you are to events that you can't control. Whether that's Trump coming out and saying something, you have Russia strike Ukraine, you have something happen at the Gaza Strip, you have something happen with Palestine. Those are all news events that we can't control. And the reason that we want to be very little on the exposure side, very small for the exposure side on the market, is because the VIX is trading over 21. So on top of all that unscheduled news that can happen, the VIX trading at 21 means that if news like that does come out, that's going to correlate to a larger wick up and down. People are going to be more scared. The volatility is higher. Very odd that we have SPY countering Qs now. Qs has been stronger all morning, and now SPY is printing a stronger green bar than Qs is. If 1015 closed somewhere in a discount you market order in, I usually, very rarely do I do a market order. Not that it's that big of a difference, but I almost always do buy bid or sell ask. The reason being, sometimes trade of 8 lags, and if you do a buy market, you'll get like for this candle's example, if I want to do buy market right now, I might get a fill all the way up at like 24,896, even though price is trading at 24,885. So it's not that big of a issue, but it does translate over to you getting a little screwed on terms of like 10 to 20 points, especially during Asia session as well. If you do buy market, everyone that's traded on Trade of 8 should have at least experienced this once. If you do a buy market during Asia session, gold, MNQ, you will almost always get a fill that immediately puts you in the red by 10 to 20 bucks, like clockwork. So the reason I do buy bid is because it will put it right where, as soon as I click, it will put the buy bid at 24,895, 891, and I'll get filled at that, even if it jumps up and then comes back down. I'm just not a fan of doing the buy market. Never really have been. Oh man, I didn't want it to push up that fast. I don't know where the strength came from SPY all of a sudden. That seeing SPY push up like that almost made me get in a little prematurely as well. I'm trying to be patient. We do have 9 minutes left now, so it's in the time frame that we want. I might have been a little too much of a baby today, though. Why'd you get in so high, KP? I like the 1-to-1 on that, though. 24,960. Why not slap the TP all the way up at the IB high? Why do you have it just below? Previous day's high is also weekly open on NQ. Even if at IB high break, aiming for previous day's high is a good trade. That's what I was gonna do originally. I still might. If we take 2 MNQ or 2 MES, MES we don't have the target all the way up to 690, so it wouldn't really work there. With 1 MNQ, 2 MNQ, you could secure one at the IB high and then take it all the way up to 608. I knew it was going to curl up like that too. That's a pain. Spy almost got me in. Saw Spy pushing up like with that green. That almost made me tail in on Qs. We have now 8 minutes, 7 minutes for this to pull back. Hopefully we get 25.9. We also just blasted right through, didn't we? With no resistance at 24.9. What the heck? We just went right through that level. Hindsight, best entry was at 10, but that was way too early. Nailed that long, easy peasy long. There you go. Very nice. I'm kicking myself a little bit right now because I did see Spy and was pushing. Still too early to, not too upset because it was a little early. And again, this is all hindsight on these entries. And I do not have analysis paralysis today. We do want to go long. That was a really weird wick. Not sure if anyone just saw that. We just jumped up 40 cents and then immediately went back down. Went to 605.81, then right back down to 605.11 in a couple of seconds just now. That's a great point for the market buys, by the way. If that happens and you click a market buy at the worst possible time, you'll get filled at that 605.90, 605.81, and then price will dip back down to 605.11, and you'll be down like 25, 30 points for no reason. Nailing the long is great, but it's not the strat. Exactly. Exactly. I got in at 860, but with my stop at 864. How many points have you been trailing it behind, Steve? Did you get unlucky with it? Not much. Yeah. Try to keep the size down, especially on 1 MES. We're almost there, KP. $30 more. It's gonna hit IBI, don't you worry. You could secure it, KP, and then wait for a little dip. You got aggressive stops, okay. Good. Yeah, exactly. Had we taken along, it would have been great, but it wasn't. It was way too early for us to have gotten in. I mean, 10 o'clock, that is more than enough. That's 30 minutes. That price could have trended down to 599.80. But I will add in, I was a little wimpy there. I should have gotten in when Spy just made this at 10:16 is when it made that push. And Q's was red on the 15-minute candle. 10:16 was, yeah, right there. 603.89 to 79 would have been our entrance. Still got the IB 50 retracement, and the range right now is coming up on 300 points. At 920, IB is goaded. IB is goaded. Am I a hardcore smoker? No, I have a little head cold right now. My brother-in-law got me sick. Flat. I got the 715 PST. Yeah. Is what it is. You bastard. Well, could have had a monster trade on that if I had jumped in. Still going to be targeting the previous day's high too. We have a minute 50. We can get a decent pullback. I just don't think it's going to pull back too much. Awesome as always. So the IB played out perfectly, hitting the 50%, but you didn't enter because of the time. Yeah, it all comes to hindsight as well. That IB 50 hit at 10 o'clock. The news was bullish, so I'll give the news that. No, streaming didn't psych me out. I wouldn't have taken this trade if I was sitting here by myself anyway. Gotta clean that desk up a little bit, KP. Damn. Oh, not the bong sitting on. What are you doing? He tipped his chair back. Congratulations on your payout, KP. KP just got his first ever payout. Huge congratulations to him. Sent a picture in the Discord of him tipping his chair over. I'm assuming you probably pushed yourself back off the desk and fell backwards. It's pretty funny. The streaming didn't have anything to do with it. I wouldn't have taken this trade regardless. The only thing, and this all comes to hindsight as well. The only thing that we had going for us is the London 50 and previous days 50. Again, all coming from hindsight. Had we entered at 603, yes, that would have been the best possible entry. But you have to look at the fact that that was after a data read with 30 minutes left until the IB formed. If it ends up being no trade, it's no trade. It's fine. We got the pullback that I wanted, just didn't maintain the hold down there a little bit longer. Am I familiar with the traveling trader? I am not. I'm not. IB high already got taken on the 10:30 open for both SPY and Qs as well. So we should 608 is what we're gonna go and hit almost immediately right here. Let me go and look at the traveling trader. What does he look like? Is that exactly what you did, KP? Took the long off London 50. Now I'm done for the day. IB high. Very nice. Well dive. You're a better man than I. Yeah, I probably should have added the London 50 entry in there. That was a perfect representation of London 50. Bullish bias. IB's bullish. London 50 and previous days 50 lined up perfectly for a bounce. We held over on the 15-minute. The worst part is, I covered this with Andre yesterday, when the IB forms, Like when you start forming new highs and the IB 50 moves up with the IB as it's making new highs, if you look just on a 15-minute time frame, it looks like we had a perfect entry at 603.60, but we did not because we made a new high all the way right up until that IB broke. But previous days 50 and London 50 would have been a lot better to add there, sadly. You know what? It is what it is, man. Done for the day, 2 for 2. I get an ES 25%. Thanks for the insight. No problem. Flat for the day. Enjoy your day, everyone. Nothing else for me, probably, Arvin. I mean, I might like we could take a long right now and push it to previous day's high. Previous day's high on Qs is 25.41, so it'd be like a 30-point trade. We could do 1-to-1 with 2M in Q. I don't think that would be too bad. That wouldn't be the IB trade though. Surely we can get a POS retracement. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I don't mind the idea of going long right now. 30 points. I think 30 points for a stop loss might be a little too tight. 2M and Q. Yeah, it'd be like a $120 trade, $120 loss. Definitely could. It should pretty quickly go and take the high, but after the high is broken, then definitely no trades for the rest of the day because this is what happened. The same exact thing that happened yesterday just happened today, which I guess I should have probably taken the longs off that thesis too. SPY went and took previous day's high. It dragged Qs up with it at open. Qs never went and took previous day's high, which is what it was much closer to, and then ended up pushing all the way to the low. Thanks so much for sharing your IB trade model. It just takes all the guesswork out. Just hit and miss with the right proper risk management. Yeah, exactly. Do you take the long at IB mid even though IB's formed? Yeah, I would. For example, so this is me trying to say if this was a perfect outcome for today. We'll go down to the 3-minute for this as well. So let's say we I gotta select the bar. So let's say this is what the IB looked like, which is what it was. I would have wanted to see price do something like this and then push up, and then that's our trade at 10:36 or 10:23 or whenever it goes and hits. Now, if we exit out of this and we can see that it's just been trending up the entire time, and we have quite literally we have no pullback whatsoever. Not really any trade that we need to take off of that. Could be a little risky right now and go for previous day's high. I don't think that's too bad of an idea. Gotta wait. Sadly, yeah, you gotta wait all the way until 5. Yep. I you might struggle a little bit doing it at work because you need to do the KYC verification. So you need to ID and you take a selfie, and then it needs a secure internet connection, which I know you said you don't really have good internet at work. Yeah. I might be. Yeah, but it's 540 is when you'll be able to request it. I might be a little risky right now and take a long to previous day's high. Yeah, no, it's they do that. If you didn't know, everyone that is in the process of looking for a payout, Lucid, Tradeify, Apex, they're all the same. Top Step now does this as well. If you go to take a payout, they will make you wait until 540 in hopes that you go and blow your profits for the day by taking just one more trade. Holy smokes, Freedom Trader. I'd be high now. You know what? I'll try it. Screw it. I'll put a. So I'm going to put the take profit at previous day's high. This isn't a trade that I would normally take. This is going to be a little risky, and then I'm going to put the stop loss at 30 points down. So take profits at 25.41 previous day's high, and then I'm going to put the stop at 30 points. I'm going long for previous day's high, and this is probably a stupid trade, but I think it's a sound idea still. And I'm aiming for the inside bar break 75. Why does this keep changing? 82% now? There you go. 48. Give me a quick little pop to previous day's high. I don't really want to move the stop to break even quite yet. Full IB formed 6 minutes ago, so it's too far away. Yeah, it's too. The IB's already broken, so the IB is out of question for today. That's a dumb trade on my part, so I'm talking myself out of it before I even let it develop. Because I just answered my own question with that. The IB's already done for today, so we should go and take previous day's high. Very easily go and take 608. The IB is the highest measure stat on Edgeville. It's the highest stat that there is. 97% chance that it happens. So that's going to the IB. Excuse me. IB by breakout. This has, over the past 6 months, it's a 95.2% chance that it hits. Over the past 5 years, it's about a 98% chance once it loads. The reason that I trade the IB is because of that stat. We know that 98% of the time, the IB is going to break the high or the low. It doesn't mean that it's a 98% win rate, because we still need to identify if it's going to hit the high or if it's going to hit the low. And we do that with the IB by rejection. If the low forms first, we target the high. If the high forms first, we target the low. Ideal entry is at 50%, because the invalidation for this trade, if I enter at 606, let's say, and I do a 1-to-1 risk reward, even if I get stopped out, the IB is still valid. So that's not the true invalidation for that trade. The true invalidation for the IB is all the way down at 599.76, because the IB low breaking invalidates the IB high breaking. Now, again, this is, sorry, I misspoke. 97%. I think that's still fine. 97%, 39 out of 1,254 days, the IB did not break. Meaning on the other 1,215 days, the IB broke out. So we're trading the stat that says 97% of the time the IB breaks. Now that the IB is already broken and only has to take it by a wick, the IB is invalidated for the day. So we don't need to go and take an IB low. We don't need to go and take a continuation. The only reason that I did just get into that long right there was because I wanted to get up to previous day's high. Kind of talked myself out of it because it was just kind of a stupid quick trade. The validation to going to previous day's high, I could have slapped a 1-to-1 risk reward on that. I could size down and put a 50-point stop and a 50-point take profit. That trade is nowhere near as confident of a trade as the IB breaking the high or low is. I have some doubts that we are going to reach previous day's high, as we already broke. We did not break previous day's low on Qs though, Mike. I do not think that SPY is going to go to previous day's high. I think that what's going to happen in the next couple of minutes here is we're going to go and snap up to previous day's high, and then we're probably going to do something like this for the rest of the day. I do not think that we are going to have a continuation of this move. I think that we're going to wick through that high, very similar to what we did yesterday at previous day's low. Qs did the same exact thing. We wicked through previous day's low by 4 cents yesterday, and then we never went further than that. You're all good, Mike. Yeah, I definitely would not have taken longs on MES because we already broke that low. How do you define if the high or low is formed first? In other videos, I saw that for you, a high and low doesn't necessarily have to consist of 3 candles. This is on the 15-minute time frame. You can go to the 5-minute time frame to get a better view of it. You can go to the 3-minute time frame to get an even better view of it. I use the 15-minute just because it keeps me from. If you're on the 1-minute time frame, you're gonna have heart palpitations, and I don't want to have that. I'm only 26, and I want my heart to last a long, healthy life. So I don't want to. People that trade on the 1-minute time frame, I hope they're successful with it. But if you're looking at this, you are every single quick move up and down signals your brain into fight or flight mode. 15-minute time frame, nice and smooth. It's 4 candles for the IB. You don't have to worry about large wicks. You don't have to worry about weird 1-minute candles that look huge, but they're really only like 50 cents. So that's the reason I use the 15-minute time frame. I want to live a long, healthy life. Which, who knows, trading is probably already knocked off. The first like 3 years of unprofitable trading before you get to being profitable has probably knocked off like 10 years off my life already. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just saying on a 1-minute time frame, after you get into a trade, you're going to be a lot more like antsy about the trade going up or down. I couldn't think of what word I wanted to use. 15-minute time frame, you enter and it looks nice and smooth. It's just forming wicks high, wicks low. It's adjusting the body along the way. A 1-minute time frame, you have so many different validations and patterns and whatever else pops up on the chart. There's a lot of different things that can show up on that chart. The only other reason I use the 1-minute time frame is because it sometimes shows a little bit of like what the actual wick low was or the wick high. We are also over 25,000, so this should pretty quickly snap up to that previous day's high. And I think once that's done, we're completely done for the day. It's just about there. Previous day's high is 25.38 and a half. So we're 12 points off of that right now. Would have been a really good entry if I held it. I think that maybe had like 10 points of drawdown at the peak. But exactly what I was just saying. It hindsight traders and trading in hindsight's the worst thing that you can do because it's going to lead you to tilting. The other thing is taking non-A plus trades, which you guys just found me. I was guilty of it right there. Lucky that it played out for me. Taking non-A plus trades is one of the worst things you can do. You're 53 tomorrow. Well, happy early birthday, Serenity. Yes, I am 26 years old. If I have a full head of gray hair in 10 years, trading is not the way that you want to go. Trader just caught the entire IB high move. He entered right at 50% and he just caught that entire 180 points up. Son of a gun. You animal. Almost stays high. Very, very close. You take so risky trade based on not updated IB high? It's updated. The IB high is already done. That's the IB finished at 10:30, so this 10:15 candle's the high. Doo doo. The worst thing that you can do, and I'm gonna struggle with this afternoon as well because I'm a little sad that we didn't get this trade. Uh, Not taking any non A plus setups. So I would say it is a somewhat A plus setup to take longs off of 25 because it's a psych level and then target up 30 points, 40 points to previous day's high. But where's your stop loss on that trade? You put it at 1-to-1. If you put it at 1-to-1 and it continues lower, now you're down 120 on the day or 60 depending on your sizing. That's when you start tilting because you go down 120 off a trade that you shouldn't have taken, and now you're going to try to claw back on more trades that you shouldn't take, as opposed to just kind of tipping your hat to the day, saying, "Oops, didn't get my trade. We'll find another one tomorrow." You thought he trades breakers? He does, but I am talking him into the IB. So he slapped a change in state delivery on the IB, and he took the entry right at 50%. He took the entry at like 9:50. It looks like maybe 10 o'clock even, which is where I said we should have entered. Again, in hindsight, so I think he got his entry right at 10, maybe a little bit earlier than 10, and then he rode it all the way up to 6:07 just now. Yeah, tilting is hard. Vol dive in bold letters. Top Step is the worst company ever. Yeah, I don't really. The only way that I go back and trade on Top Step is if I get 5 XFAs loaded up. I will full port them on CPI with that CPI news trade that everyone does. It worked out for me really well last month. That and MSS could give good early confirmation. I'm not trying. I can't pick and choose today. I mean, it's as simple as just saying we didn't get an entry today. It's as simple as we just did not get an entry on the IB, and it's okay. Again, the worst thing, the absolute worst thing that you can do is get antsy. Okay, I didn't pass my accounts today. I didn't get a trade. I didn't get a trade on my funded, whatever it is. The worst thing you can do is go and look at, and again, I just did this, guy, so I'm just as guilty as anyone else. You get antsy, you're upset you didn't take a trade, you're upset you don't have profit on the day. Now I'm going to go over to gold and trade gold because it moves faster. Or I'm going to go over to MES and I'm going to trade 10 contracts because it's going to move slow for the rest of the day. Or I'm going to go and trade 4 contracts on M&Q because I want to get the profit that I should have had. One day, I promise you, one day is not going to change anything. No one got, unless you win the lottery. So 99.999% of people did not get rich in one day, especially trading a little shit setup. How do you know exactly how I think? If I take a losing trade or miss one, I'm already looking at gold. That's what 97% of the space does, KP. So exactly what KP just said. Again, congratulations on your first payout. But I did the same thing. Everyone else does the same thing. You want instant gratification. And that's why so many people either size up to NQ after missing some trades. So I could easily go and be like, okay, I'm going to take 100 micros, meaning that this is 2 minis per account, and I'm going to look for a quick 20-point move up. Everyone does that without thinking of what the downside could be. So everyone goes into those trades and they think, I'm going to take this trade without thinking that it could lose. okay, I lost on this trade. I'm down $400 now. I need to make it back immediately. So I'm going to go and do 1 micro on gold. It's just a small trade, but gold's been moving 50 points. So maybe I'll make it back. And then all of a sudden, that 1 micro turns into 2. That 2 turns into 4. Next thing you know, you're down $600 to $800, and you're going into that last trade with no stop loss. So everyone wants instant gratification. Everyone wants their trades to hit with no drawdown and immediate TP hits. It's not the case. And again, the worst thing you can do is go and look at this chart, and I'm going to go long right here at 24,990. I'm not even going to think about the possibility that my stop loss might hit. I'm only thinking to myself, I'm about to make probably $120 in this trade, or $160. And then it goes and hits my stop loss. I'm down 160. Now all of a sudden, I'm looking at gold, or I'm looking at doing the same exact trade with 4 micros or 6 micros or 8 micros. And shockingly enough, if you guys are going to gamble, go and gamble. Do not do it on futures, because the way the market's designed, the way the market moves, you will be more profitable if you go and put $200 into DraftKings and try to just YOLO it, as opposed to going and putting $200 into some evals and trying to YOLO them to pass it. Because you will not get a perfect entry. You will, again, say I want to take an entry here at 24,990, because I think, oh, what was that? You guys see that? That scared me there for a second. I thought my account just evaporated. Lost my train of thought. Entry at 24,990. I'm going to look for 24, 25, 38. Not even anticipate a stop loss hitting, or the probability of the stop loss hitting. Can you do a real quick few bullet points on why you like Lucid versus Top Step? Lucid, one-time payment. They're the only prop firm in the entire space that has a one-time payment. What IB indicator is that? It comes with Edgeful. It comes with your Edgeful subscription. You get access to every single, you go to invite only, you get access to every single subscription, every single IB, engulfing candles, every single data report they have. So they have 3 algos, which you can add. You can link to your, I use the orb strategy for a little bit. You can add all of these to any trading script, and those will automatically take the trades for you. The top 3 anyway. So going back to Lucid and Top Step, Lucid is the only firm in the space that has a one-time payment. So if you are struggling with payouts, you're struggling to get payouts, Lucid is always what I go back to, because they are a one-time payment, meaning that you have no rush in passing the account. You can slow down for the month. You can slow down for however long you want. And Lucid also has probably the easiest payout policy there is on the 25K accounts. You need to make 2,000 in total to pass your eval and get to a max payout. You need to make $3,100. 3,350. Sorry, I forgot it's 1,250 on the evals. So 3,350, whereas a Top Step account or a Tradeify 50K, or even a MyFunded Futures 50K, those accounts you need to make 3,000 to pass the account, and then you need to make, in most cases, another 2,000 to 3,000 to get your first payout. So Lucid, I think, is number 1 in terms of getting an easy payout, and then they're all kind of, I think Lucid, honestly, MyFunded Futures might be my number 2 now, because you can request the payout when you get it. Like, again, if I were to go and make another 500 on these accounts right now, I could request the payout immediately. I could request it right now. If you request before lunch, you get the payout that same day. If you request after lunch, you get the payout the next day. EA and Funded Next are one-time payments, but they're not like Lucid 25K is $75. Funded Next and E8, those ones are like $200. Funded E8's also very difficult to navigate. I tried going and looking through their platform, and I couldn't figure out where I could go and buy an account because they also E8 futures, I believe, does forex as well, right? Yeah, they do forex and crypto and futures. It's a little difficult to go and find where you have to plug in your country, and then you have to go and plug in what your risk parameters are, and they give you a set of challenges. But not a fan of their dashboard. Don't let out the secret of the 25K counts. 25K counts are superior. Yeah, if you guys want to buy any of those counts, code Zinc works on Tradeify, Lucid, and My Funded Futures. You want to support me a little bit? I appreciate it. My affiliate code does not give you any benefit over just using the company's affiliate code, by the way. It's the same. Have you tried the new platform Lucid TradeSea? It looks like TradingView. Yeah, I'm gonna try it when you can link both Lucid and Tradeify. So do you use the same strat today on London? No, I'm probably done for the day. I'm not gonna take any more trades. This will be it for me. Proud to say I participated in that move and made profits. Very nice, KP. That would have been a stop out right there. So glad I secured that position. Shouldn't have been in the position anyway. Why 25K and not 50K? It's the dollar amount that you have to make. All right, guys, that will wrap it up for the stream today. Did I watch the Iman trade video about Justin Wehrlein? I did not. Should I? I don't really care to partake in that. I'm happy for the support from all of you guys, especially that you are trusting in me, that I'm authentic, which I am. I can confidently say that I have never swindled anyone as bad as what the like I don't know 5 people that recently got exposed are. On the new platform, Rob, on TradeSea, you will be able to copy trade Lucid and Tradeify together. Lucid and Tradeify, it looks like they partnered together. I haven't tried it, BW. All right, that will do it for the stream. Thank you guys for hopping in. No trade today from me. If anything, we just had a little half-ass trade right there, which I'm not too proud of. I will be closing the monitor down for today. No more trades for me. Maybe have some trades during London, or not London, Asia session tomorrow, but that will do for today. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you all tomorrow.